Ohio State kicks off fall camp focused on continuing to lay the foundation for the 2025 season.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Thursday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And during today's show, we will discuss a great opportunity for fans during fall camp, as well as some of the top position battles. But first, y'all, it's hard to believe it, but fall camp is finally here. This isn't the start of something new. It's the continuation of what the Buckeyes have been building all offseason. The foundation has been laid through months of hard work, conditioning, and preparation. Now it's time to sharpen every detail. With every snap, every drill, and every practice rep, Ohio State is moving closer to week one. The competition for starting spots is real, and the players know the margin for error is slim. This camp will set the tone for the entire season, shaping who will lead and who will rise to the challenge. As the Buckeyes push forward, the focus remains clear. Build on the foundation, get better every day, and prepare to make 2025 a season to remember. And that last part is key because when I think about this upcoming season, you want to make it a season to remember. You want to make this year as memorable as last year was. And what do we know about last season? There were ups, there were downs, there are things that you liked, there are things that you didn't like, there was adversity, there were losses, there was a horrible loss at the end of the regular season. But what did the Buckeyes do after said loss? They overcame adversity. Well, they can look back to fall camp and say, what are we doing right now in the middle of the season that was a continuation of something that happened in fall camp? And if you had to change some things, why did you have to change them? Was it because things were incorrect during fall camp? And if that's the case, that is a learning period for you because right now during fall camp, you got to get ready to speed. You got to get up to speed. You got to get ready to go right now. Because moving forward, as you think about what's to come for Ohio State in week one, it ain't no cupcake. Ain't no Youngstown State. Ain't no Grambling State. Ain't none of them states. It is Texas, a Final Four team from a year ago, with Arch Manning as a starting quarterback, a quarterback that many believe is going to be a Heisman finalist at the end of the season, or some are saying is going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. I ain't going that far. I'm not going that far at all. But I do know when you go into a game like that, week one, and Arch Manning is coming to town and Texas is coming to town, especially when Ryan Day and Sark have had numerous games against each other, you got to realize that even though it's July 31st, you got to act like it's August 25th in this game week. The intensity has to be high. The physicality has to be high. The coaches can't start off a little lax and then ramp up a couple of days later. No, you got to treat this like you're preparing for a game now. Now, there is going to be an acclimation period, and you know that Ryan Day is going to try to save the bodies as much as he can, but this is very similar to 2022 when you have Notre Dame week one, who was a big boy in the sport, one of those brands that you recognize all over the country. I mean, you think Ohio State, even though Ohio State's closer to Jersey, trust me, Notre Dame's presence in Jersey is very, very big. Why? Because the Notre Dame brand travels. Also, that NBC deal they've had since the 90s, that helped Notre Dame become a bigger national brand. They were already a national brand. It just helped them expand their own footprint to other areas that otherwise would not have been able to watch Notre Dame football. For Ohio State right now, look at yourselves. What do you have on the team? You have guys on the team that can be dogs. You have some returning starters in Hinsman and Serveld and Shabola and Montgomery. What else do you have? Two of the best players in the country in Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. What else do you have? Some other guys that are really, really good in Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, Max Clare, Dave Sigmund-Olsen, Beau Atkinson who transferred in. You got some really good, talented players, but you also got some incoming guys that are new. Some of them were there during spring ball. Some of them were not, like a Logan George or even a Beau Atkinson, or even an Eli Brick Handler who's not going to play. But Brick Handler's voice in the locker room and being a veteran presence is going to be needed. And he, like everybody else, needs to understand that you're not trying to defend a national championship like Ryan Day mentioned at Big Ten Media Days. You're trying to go attack one. And when you're trying to go attack a national championship instead of trying to defend one, you're going to go hard in the paint every single day, every single rep, every single snap. You're going to go as hard as you can. Why? Because you're constantly attacking something until you got it, until it's yours. And for Ohio State trying to go attack a national championship, think about the foundation you're trying to lay for the team. Now I'm not talking about just in the trenches where you have to be sound on the O line and the D line to be able to win a national championship. I'm not saying that, no. But laying the right foundation is key because even for the new coaches and Matt Patricia and Tyler Bowen, what do you have to do? Well, they have already been through spring ball. They know what Ryan Day expects, but there might be a different version of Day that Bowen and Patricia see where they're like, oh, I understand why I made this move. I understand why this is the right time for me to come to Columbus, Ohio to be a part of this program. I understand if I'm Patricia, I left the NFL to come back to college football for the first time since the early 2000s. Or if I'm Tyler Bowen, I understand why I left an OC job to be an O-line coach where Ohio State now has literally, you could say, three coordinators because you have Brian Hartline, who's the OC. You have Coach Keenan Bailey, who is the co-OC, and Tyler Bowen, who was not the OC. I believe he's a run game coordinator, which is you may want to say, a weird word to say he's another co-offensive coordinator. Now, they're not all going to be decision makers. That's between Hartline and Day, but their experience, their brains, how they got to where they are, that's going to be very, very big for Ohio State right now. Fall camp's going to be fun. I believe there are 20 plus practices between now, at least during fall camp, that the Buckeyes are going to be going through. They're going to be experiencing. They're going to be getting physical. They're going to have some really important scrimmages that are going to help decide who the starting quarterback is going to be between Kienholz and Sayin. I'm not going to shy away from something I've said all offseason that I believe the starting quarterback is going to be Julian Sayin. That does not mean Lincoln can't win the job. It doesn't mean that at all. All I am saying is that my pick has not changed. Also, I have changed my tune on the quarterback battle because after seeing Link with the receivers at basically a pool party with Hartline, as well as him being a dude of the week and seeing how yoked up he's been and how much muscle he has put on since spring ball concluded, I think his physical makeup is one that Ryan Day and Hartline are going to gravitate towards while trying to decide who the starting quarterback is going to be. Yes, there might be a physical trait or some quarterback traits that Sayin has that are better than Lincoln. However, I will leave you with this, at least right now, about the quarterback battle. While Sayin might have some more traits that are better, think about who leads the locker room better. Who gets along better with his peers? This isn't just about a football thing. This is a life thing. Who gets along better there? The leadership qualities, who builds the chemistry, who has a better command of the offense, who has a better command of the huddle, who can run the 2-minute and 4-minute drill better, who can get 3 yards on 4th and 2. Those details matter with trying to win the starting quarterback job at Ohio State. Yes, you can throw the best ball. You can throw the tightest spiral. You can even have a release that looks very, very special. All that's great. But let's not forget that Ryan Day understands the intangibles about being a quarterback. Not just because he was a quarterback in college, but because he realized you took a guy last year that was not the best thrower, that was not the most polished quarterback in college football. But Ryan Day saw some things in Will Howard's leadership that made Will Howard the right candidate to lead the Buckeyes offense from a year ago. Well, almost said lead the quarterback room, which he did, but that wasn't where my mind was supposed to go. Where my mind is going to go, just like yours, is to the top position battles at Ohio State. Because I got 1, 2, 3, I got 4 or 5 or 6 even position battles that the Buckeyes are going to be focused on during fall camp. This episode is brought to you by DripDrop. If you're staying on top of your routine, whether that's workouts, long days on campus, or staying focused through back-to-back classes, hydration is where it all starts. And that's where DripDrop comes in. DripDrop is doctor-developed and scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sports drink. Right now, DripDrop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Just head to DripDrop.com and use promo code LockedOnCollege. That's DripDrop.com, promo code LockedOnCollege for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. Thank you all for tapping into Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. So when it comes to top position battles at Ohio State, there's one that's on everyone's list. It's been on our show numerous times this offseason. It is the quarterback competition. I'm not going to belabor the point or bury the lead when we get there. We're going to get in, get out as quickly as we can because we've talked about that a lot, and they're going to continue to talk about that until they hands over the title of QB1. But that's not the only position battle that is going on right now, and there's even one with a backup position that's very pivotal for Ohio State to be very, very sound on one particular part of the trenches. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but you can probably guess where my mind is going. Some top position battles at Ohio State currently are starting with the quarterbacks. Julian Sayin versus Lincoln Kienholz. Enough said. We talked about it a lot. Really talked about it in the last segment, knowing that it's coming up once again in this segment, in this segment of the show. This is going to be hot. This is going to be a hard fought battle. Now, I'm not talking about getting out the boxing gloves and going blow for blow in the locker room after a practice. No. But I do think Kienholz can win. And that is something that I've been able to gravitate towards more in the latter part of July. Even though ball hasn't been played, I think there's a real opportunity for Kienholz to win this job. But like I said earlier, in the all-off season, I still believe Sayin's going to win it. I would 100% believe that. The one thing I hope doesn't happen is that Day does not go back to his 2022 ways and lets the battle go into the regular season, because whoever starts against Texas needs to be your starting quarterback. Maybe you start one guy against Texas and then use game 2 and 3 as the finishing touch for the position battle. I wouldn't like that at all. I think it's very, very silly to do that, but it could happen. I think Stan's going to win it. I expect Day to announce their starting quarterback between August 10th through 14th, and when that happens, we will be right here to react to it. Also, for strong safety, Malik Hartford versus Jalen McClain. I believe both were due to the week during workouts this offseason. McClain, I think, was most recent, and then Hartford earlier. Maybe I got that flip-flop, but it was like one was towards the beginning of the summer and one was towards the end of the summer. But, however, if I'm trying to pick a guy that's going to start at strong safety alongside Caleb Downs, it's Malik Hartford. And it's not saying Jalen McClain is bad. I think Hartford is better right now. It is the better option for Ohio State to be Caleb Downs' running mate. And that's an interesting thing to talk about, too, because with Downs being an older guy and a guy that's played a lot of football, really a 2-year starter, once at Alabama and once at Ohio State, you might think you want to save his body right now during fall camp for what should be a long, grueling physical season for the third-year player. I wouldn't suggest that you play them side by side to give Downs rest, where McClain is playing free, Hartford's playing strong, and you're just trying to get them on the field to get reps. I wouldn't do that, because you're not doing just getting reps. You're putting him in a whole different position, which is not going to be one that he's going to play in during the season. Another battle I'm looking at closely is Beau Atkinson versus Caden Curry. This isn't something I expected to say if you were back at the end of spring ball, even if you go back to a little bit further than that, to the middle of March at Ohio State's Pro Day. I would never have guessed that Ohio State would go into the portal to get a guy to come in at a position that they have two clear-cut starters and say, oh, go in there and compete, start. I didn't think that was going to happen. But the one reason why I think this is very, very interesting is because I think both guys are good quality starters. Both of them can start. Atkinson has the most production of anybody in the D-line room. Also, Caden Curry being a Swiss Army knife and being a playmaker makes him one that I'm really going to be closely watching, because I was looking forward to watching Curry start as an Ohio State player, and it'll be really weird, just me personally, if I was making that big prediction and then thinking, well, as good as you think he is, Jay, Day went out there and got somebody better, which is probably true. Day knows what he's doing, and Day getting Beau Atkinson is someone that is not only more experienced than Curry, but right now I think he's better. Here's the weird thing. Curry was a Buckeye due to the week this offseason, which to me, with how Ryan Day speaks about all the offseason and the workouts, to me speaks volumes about Curry potentially being a starter this year. A couple more. This one's on the right side of the line. I'm going to add a couple guys in here just to kind of spice things up. Right guard, right tackle. We know Austin Saravel's going to start. Will it be right guard or will it be right tackle? That is to be determined. But there are four guys right now that are trying to battle for a couple spots on the right side of the line. Mainly for right guard, it is Saravel and Shabola. But for right tackle, it's Saravel, Shabola, Ian Moore, and Philip Daniels. I think for the sake of argument and for time, you can kind of X out Philip Daniels out of this battle. But if he did cut some weight and if he did refine some of his tools, you could find Philip Daniels being in the mix. But I think it's really a three-horse race between Ian Moore, Tegra Shabola, and Austin Saravel for the right tackle spot. I think Ian Moore eventually plays left tackle once Anandman goes off to the National Football League. But for now, you got to figure out the backside. And maybe even Ian Moore is a better right tackle now for the Buckeyes to start over Shabola. So that means Saravel goes down to right guard, and I would be comfortable with that. A couple more here. I haven't talked about a couple of these in a while. At least this one. Starting nickel corner. We don't normally talk about it because it was almost a foregone conclusion that Lorenzo Styles Jr. was going to be there. But the more I think about it, and I've even made some comments here on the show where I'm thinking, I don't know what he's going to be. Yo, I have no idea. And when I have no idea what someone's going to be, that makes me lean into saying that guy might not get the job because Bryce West is right there. And Bryce West, I do believe, is a corner that can play that nickel corner, that inside corner spot, or play outside corner. Where next year he's going to be an outside corner, probably starting alongside Matthews. Well, Matthews Jr. goes up to the NFL. You can be seeing next year, not Bryce West, Devin Sanchez on the outside. I mean, there's so many guys that are right there. But I think Bryce West and Lorenzo Styles Jr. for the nickel corner spot. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. I think it'd probably be a better option to put West as a starting nickel over Lorenzo Styles Jr. Because I think Styles is more of a safety over a corner. And the Buckeyes should have a corner right there at that nickel corner spot, not a guy who's better being a safety. And then last but not least, and this is one that is going to be very interesting because there's a name that Ryan Day mentioned at Big Ten Media Days that I wasn't expecting to hear, but speaks volumes about this player's growth, and that is Will Smith Jr. The battle for the backup defensive tackles rotation. I think right now, and I said it previously, you're looking at Will Smith Jr. and Jason Moore probably in the top two guys to back up Cade McDonald and Edric Houston, with Tywone Malone being the fifth D tackle in rotation. However, Malone has the most experience of any of these three guys as he played down there in the Southeastern Conference for Ole Miss. Didn't play a lot. There's a reason why he transferred to Ohio State, but this is one you have to watch very, very closely. Speaking of watching things very, very closely, fans like yourself have a great opportunity during fall camp, and it's one opportunity that I don't think anyone should take for granted. Thank you all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Growing up, going to training camp for the Indianapolis Colts was always fun. And then when I became an adult and I was able to just free roam and do with the things that I wanted to do, I used to go up to Anderson University to watch Colts training camp. And then it moved to Grand Park in Westfield. And I used to go there to watch Colts training camp. And one thing I enjoyed was the opportunity to not just watch football in late July, early August, but also to be around the players and to get some autographs and to really get up close and personal with the people that I've watched every Sunday afternoon. And when I say autographs, the Colts still have autograph sessions. I was literally within probably less than 10 feet from Peyton Manning when he was signing autographs one off season. But, and you know, Peyton Manning, he's 6'5", but you also know there's a lot of security around him. And he not looking at you, he just like grab, sign. And I enjoyed those moments. But Ohio State fans generally haven't had the opportunity to go to training camp or fall camp because it's behind closed doors. It's closed to the public. It's even close to the media for the most part. Ryan Day will let you come in for 10 to 15 minutes, but for the most part, Ryan Day's not trying to let anything get out. But right now, Ryan Day is changing his tune, and I love it because Ohio State fans like yourself can go through the first 3 days of fall camp. Fall camp is today. The second practice is tomorrow on August 1st, and the third is on Saturday, August 2nd. Starting on August the 3rd on that Sunday, practice will be closed, will be behind closed doors to the media and to yourself, which is okay. Literally having the opportunity that really has rarely come around for Ohio State fans to go to fall camp. You may want to go 1 day, you may want to go 2 days, maybe you want to go all 3 days, whatever the case may be. If you want to go, go. If you have the means, if you have the funds, because you have to buy a ticket, 100% absolutely go. Now here's my little complaint, maybe not a rant, but it may happen, about Ohio State charging fans like yourself to attend a practice. Growing up, let's go back to that conversation once again. Colts training camp was always free. Even when they had to rent out a university, an Anderson University, where you had to park in grass at times, and they reserved their own space to where they had Colts City, where you walk through the Colts training camp. Banner is right up there above you at the entrance, and then you could go and you could buy some merch, or you could do different skills, or you could go and look through different history of the Indianapolis Colts. Now it's that in Westfield at Grand Park. There's still more of that city feel, but there's different amenities and different things that make it very unique, even the concession stand. But it was all free. Maybe they made the money up via the paying to park, or they make it up via the shirts they sell and some of the things that you can get while you're there. Maybe that's how you make up all the money. I don't know, but it was free. And that's a pro team. A lot of money comes in to the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of money also comes into the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're not having to rent out anything. You're not having to shell out a whole bunch of money to reserve parking in a parking lot. No. So why charge to attend a practice? Now, maybe it's for the exclusivity of it and to keep out some people that you don't want to be there. Okay, that's cool. I get it. But I still don't agree with it. I don't agree with a college like Ohio State charging fans to attend a practice. I don't. And I do believe, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I think tickets to the practice are, let's just say, I believe they're more expensive than the general admission tickets to the spring game. And even some of the reserve seat backs or reserve tickets to the spring game, reserve seats. I think practice tickets are more expensive than that. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Now, with the amount of tickets that you want to get and the limited amount of fans you want to be there, you could easily say, hey, tickets are free, but you have to go on the website, click the link to reserve your ticket. That's okay. Use the QR code or use the electronic ticket, put it in the wallet on your phone. So you go there, scan, boom, you're in. That's perfect because that's what the Colts do. And when I know it's rare to compare NFL to college. It's not true. But Ohio State makes millions of dollars every single year. So it's not like Ohio. Well, maybe they lost some. They lose quite a bit, but they still find a way to keep things going. They make a whole lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's just weird that they charge. But if you can go, go. Because you're going to go and take pictures. You're going to go maybe shake hands with Ryan Day. You're going to go and maybe meet your favorite Buckeye player and have him sign your jersey that you recently got before going to practice because you had a dream about that player signing your jersey, but you realized you didn't have a jersey of your favorite player. So you went to the Buckeye corner. You went somewhere and it's like, hey, I need this now. And you got the thing. You wore it and bam, you got it signed. Those are core memories. I am literally on this show discussing things that happened 10 to 15 or 20 years ago about a Colts training camp. I think right now in my head, my dad and I went to a Colts training camp where we took a picture right in front of the sign. We shook hands and, hey, we had smiles on our faces. It was a time for father and son to have a little bonding time. If you have a youngster, take them. Now, I don't know when school starts for everyone. So maybe you're saying, well, I want to go, but school just started or school hasn't started yet. And do I really want to get? I understand the financial hit. I understand the children, and you got to take care of them. I don't know what else to say. You got to take care of them. But go to fall camp. If you have the ability to go, absolutely go. Because this year's going to be special. We have touched on quite a few players today in Sayin and Kienholz and Hartford and McClain and Atkinson and Curry and others. Even coming up later today, little hint, there's going to be a bonus pod coming up. It's already been recorded about Locked On's top 100 college football players of 2025. There are a little sneak 5 Buckeye players in the top 100. I cannot tell you who is in that or where they fall. Come to the top 100 bonus reaction pod to check that out. But this year should be special. Ryan Day made a very clear comment at Big Ten Media Days that I can't get out of my head because of how unique his vision is. That Ohio State's not defending a national championship, they're attacking one. And when you're not trying to not trying to defend your home or defend your car, but you're trying to go out there to attack over and over and over again what you want to get, you're going to go hard in the paint. Think about it. The Elam ending and the TBT. Now, I have not watched much of the basketball tournament this year. Shame on me. I used to watch that all the time because it's fun basketball to watch in a period of the year we don't normally get ball to watch of this kind. But one thing I know is that when it comes to the Elam ending, or let's just say you're playing 21, let's make it closer to home. You're playing 21 as a kid or as an adult, and you know when you get 19 and you play like I play, if you hit a 3, hey, you got to go back to 15. But if you hit that 2, what is it? Everybody's attacking you. Everybody. They're going at you hard to try to defend you, double team, triple team, or maybe, hey, you be getting a lot of points in the paint. So you get 2 guys on you to try to trap. Oh, you split that trap. There's a big man down low trying to defend you. Why? Because everybody is attacking you. They're not defending you. They are defending you, but they're attacking you because they want to go down. So there's a defense mechanism here. There's also an attack. The one person that's in attack mode the entire time is the guy that has 19. Because what's he trying to do? End the game. He's trying to end the game. And so when he's trying to attack, he's being very strategic. Where can I go? Where can I not go? What's been working for me? What hasn't been working? What's his strength and what's his weakness? And how can I exploit his weakness? You're in attack mode. In Ohio State, don't try to defend a national championship. Go attack it. If someone comes into your home or tries to break into your home, you're going to want to defend your home, but maybe you got to attack that person. And that attack's going to be fierce. It's going to be harsh. And the person that's trying to be the break-in guy, break-in woman, won't like it. Thank y'all for tapping in Locked On Buckeyes, making this show your first listen of the day. I was struggling, as you can tell, to land that plane. For your second listen of the day, make sure you check out Locked On College Football because my guy Spencer McLaughlin is going to get you up to date with everything going on in fall camps around the country, as well as get you up to speed so you know what's coming when Ohio State kicks off and the college football season kicks off the 2025 season. Follow Locked On College Football and Locked On Buckeyes right there on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform or jstevens07. Send to every email to jstevens317 at gmail.com. It has been Locked On Buckeyes on a Thursday. We'll see you next time.